Hey guys, so I am on the way to get my labs drawn for my upcoming doctor's appointment.
It looks like we made it. Let's get it on.
Today is Tuesday, May the 16th, and my doctor's appointment is on Thursday, May 18th. And so I usually, whenever I have a doctor's appointment, he puts the labs in, and then I go get the labs, and then we talk about the labs at the appointment. So I'm going 2 days prior so that the labs can be already processed and everything. He'll have a chance to look at it, and then we can talk about it at my appointment. So taking you guys along with me, I have been on the medication Mounjaro for the last 6 months. Previously, before Mounjaro, I was on Ozempic, and I am on this medication because of type 2 diabetes. But as you all know, it does aid in weight loss and just overall health in general. There's so many other benefits to the medication Mounjaro. Being on this medication, it has helped to jumpstart my health journey, and I'm grateful for that. If you're new to this channel, welcome. We're glad to have you. I am just on a journey to conquer diabetes, to live a healthy, sustainable life, one day at a time, one step at a time, and I am grateful that you have decided to pop in. If you enjoy this video, at the end, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the like button. And to all my returning subscribers and the members of this community, thank you for joining yet again. So like I said, I've been on the medication Mounjaro for the last 6 months. I was on the 2.5 milligrams for 1 month, and then every other month I've been on the 5 milligram dose. On this dose, my blood sugars have been well controlled. I have lost a total, as of last week, I think it was 21 pounds, but I've lost a ton of inches, and I'm just feeling good. So I am so curious to know what my labs will look like. And I'm going to do, once they come back, and once I talk about it with my provider, with my doctor, I will do a sit down portion of to this video, and I'll look at the labs from November 2022 to May 2023 and compare, because I'm going to get my A1C drawn. I'm going to get a lipid panel done, and that's the A1C, if you don't know, is to check your blood sugar, your levels for the past 3 months. It helps to get a range of where your blood sugar has fallen for the past 3 months. I will also, like I said, get the lipid panel, and that's to check for your cholesterol levels, triglycerides, and so forth. And then I'll get a CMP, a comprehensive metabolic panel, and that's going to help to look at the electrolytes. It's going to also look at the kidney and liver function, and then it also looks at blood protein. It just has, it's a good way of looking at your metabolic function overall. So I will sit down and look at November's labs compared to May's labs, and we'll talk about it. So stay tuned. I'll also tell you what my doctor wants me to do moving forward. We'll talk about that. So just stay tuned. All right, that was quick. Got the red top and the purple top drawn. A little boo-boo there. And yep, red top, purple top, so 2 vials. They'll get the 3 tests done out of that, and we'll see how it goes. For the doctor to come in. Let's see how this goes. Okay, leaving my doctor's appointment, and we got a lot to talk about. So let me get home, settled, and let's just talk about this. I'm happy. All right, I'm home from my doctor's appointment, and okay, so where do we start? Where do we begin? So of course they took my weight when I got there, and I'm just gonna pull it up in my phone here. So they took my weight when I got there, and according to their scale, in November of 2022, so 6 months ago, I weighed 188. Now, I always say that I weigh, in this journey when I'm, have been updating you guys, I always say that my starting weight was 191.4, because it was, according to my home scale. My doctor appointment back in November was on November the 11th, and at that time I was 188, And let's see, they don't, let me see, do they do a point or anything? No, they just do 188. So it was I was 188 on November the 11th. Now I had been off of Ozempic for like a week at that time, and I was waiting to go back to him to talk about going up to the 2 milligram dose. If you don't know the backstory, you can look at my 1 month results and it'll kind of tell you what I did at that doctor appointment. But we were trying to go up to the 2 milligram dose of Ozempic. It was out of stock, so that's when we went to Mounjaro. So as of November the 11th, I said all that to say, as of November 11th, 2022, I was 188. I had gained like 3 pounds from there until December 1st. And so my starting weight when I started Mounjaro was 191.4. Okay, so when I got on their scale today, on their scale, I weighed 171. My home scale says I weigh 169.4 because I do the points. It was a 0.6. I think, yeah, 160, what was it? Oh, goodness. Yeah, 169.4. So that meant that from their time until now, I lost a total of 17 pounds in the last 6 months. So 17 divided by 6. So that meant that I lost about 2.8 pounds per month according to their scale. Now, my scale, like I said, 191.4 minus my own home scale, 169.4 means I lost 22 pounds, so divided by 6. So I lost about 3.6 pounds per month in the last 6 months being on Mounjaro. So, okay, I'm done. I'll talk about more about that in my 6-month review. This is only about my doctor appointment and my lab results and so forth. So let me stay on track. So I'm just excited. I'm excited. So make sure to watch my 6-month update video. But okay, my height, I'm 5'4". My pulse, probably because I was excited and nervous and everything all at once, but was 97. My blood pressure though, she had to check my blood pressure twice. So she did it she started out with my left arm, and then she was like, and I was like, what's wrong? And then she was like, no, I'm just going to check the other arm because I can't really hear in your left arm. So she went to my right arm and she was like, wait a minute, that's about right what I heard in your left arm. So my blood pressure was 98/76. And when my doctor came into the room, he immediately was like, are you feeling okay? You don't feel dizzy or lightheaded or anything like that? Your blood pressure is kind of low for your norm. Well, that was my norm 6 months ago. My blood pressure usually hung around the the 110s, the 120s for the systolic, the top number. And then the bottom number was always in the 60s, 70s. So my blood pressure has come down. That's one good thing already with being on Mounjaro for the last 6 months and incorporating my healthy habits for the last 6 months. Y'all know my healthy habits. If you don't know what I do already, check out my last video. And I kind of explain all of my healthy habits that I've been trying to incorporate into this journey. But okay, so we also went and started talking about how I'm doing overall, because this was also like a wellness exam. And I just told him I'm doing great overall. I feel better. I feel healthier. And he looked at my labs, and let's just look at the labs together. So to start, he ordered for me to do a comprehensive metabolic panel. And I think I talked about it earlier in the video, but that's where you look at the electrolytes, you look at your kidney, liver function, and just what's going on in your body metabolically. And so looking at that, in November of last year, my electrolytes were kind of like the same. Those were all the same, going down, and until you get to like my glucose. And both times when I went to get my labs drawn, I did it in the morning. So my glucose this time was 80, I mean, this is a one-time one. That's that at that exact moment what my sugar level, my blood sugar level was. So my glucose was 80 this time, and prior to it was 107, which is not too elevated. It was not too bad. My BUN this time was 11. Prior to it was 6, and your BUN is your blood urea nitrogen test, and that is a test that helps with looking at your overall kidney function. So urea nitrogen is a waste product, and if you have a bunch of that in your system, in your blood, then that means that your kidney is not working properly. So that is great. My number was 11 this time, so still within that normal range. Again, he was talking about my kidney function. He kept looking at it, and he was like, your kidneys are working great. According to these labs, compared to what your labs were before, your kidneys are looking great. And your kidneys are actually looking, he made the comment, he said that my kidneys are exceptional for my age. So I'm glad that my body is not having to work in overtime to produce all that insulin, to manage all that insulin, to manage that waste, because I've been putting in these healthy habits, losing weight, and because I'm on Mounjaro and what it's doing for my body, and I'm happy. So let's see. So the creatinine was good. Okay. The total protein, still everything else was around the same. He was just really happy to see that my kidney and liver functions were great. My liver function is great. The AST and the ALTs, they are great. They were great last time, and I'm glad to see that they're still great, because some people reported that they had some liver issues being on Mounjaro, but as you can see that mine are still well into the normal range. Now looking at the estimated GLOM filter rate, that is another test that tests your kidney functions, and as you see, it can also it helps the stage if you have kidney loss. So previously, back in November, it was at 83, and you want it to be above 90. And this time around, it is above 90. Last time it was at 83, so my kidneys were working in overtime to help with keeping my body in check. And it was showing that I had some mild, or actually, let's see, normal, then it is at 89. Yeah, so I had mild loss of kidney function last time. This time around, it's well into the normal kidney function. So yes, that is one reason listen, putting yourself first. I'm not gonna harp on this, because I know I talk about this all the time in videos, but putting yourself first and really paying attention to your health is vital. And if I'm not taking care of myself, how in the world am I going to help take care of others? How am I going to be there for my children, my husband, my family in general, my friends? How am I going to be there for working, my career? How am I going to be there for you guys? We're all the community here, but putting yourself first and making sure that your body inside, not just the outside, because see, we can paint this pretty picture on the outside all we want, but that goes both ways. Outside, your inside spiritually and characteristically, as well as your inside metabolically. So if my insides are not up to par metabolically, how am I going to be there for the people that I love? So I digress. But my CMP, my comprehensive metabolic panel, checked out for a good report. So I was happy about that. Moving on to the lipid panel, and the lipid panel is where we're going to look at my cholesterol levels, triglyceride level, LDLs. So back in November of last year, 6 months ago, my cholesterol was 177, and now it is 115. 177, they both are low risk, but I am more so moving away from the borderline risk where I was at before. Like 177 is so close to the 200, and now I'm at 115. I do take the medication rosuvastatin, Crestor, and I was on the 10 milligram dose. So let's look at the rest of these. Triglycerides, great. You want it to be less than 150, and last time it was 93. This time it is 44, so that's good. Now, moving down to my LDL, that low density, that's the bad one, and the LDL last time was 108.4, and that's why he stressed, he wanted me to take the Crestor and be on the Crestor, the 10 milligrams of it, and because your cholesterol is very important. Managing your cholesterol is very important with diabetic patients. And so now, being on the rosuvastatin, the Crestor, 10 milligrams, as well as choosing my diet wisely, cutting out all those fried foods, and now in moderation, because I still eat some fried foods, so in moderation, but cutting out all those unhealthy habits helped to bring, as well as, like I said, the medication has helped to bring my LDL down. So my LDL down now is at 55.2. And what we decided to do with this is we decided to go ahead and cut my dose in half. So instead of being on 10 milligrams daily now, I am now on 5 milligrams daily. So that will start when I get my next prescription. So perfect. I am so excited about my insides. I'm not going to digress again. Let's keep on going. All right. Now, Mounjaro is used for controlling type 2 diabetes. That's what the FDA has approved it for as of right now. It is in the process of working through the process of being approved for weight loss. So I will do, my focus has been my blood sugar. And I am happy to report that my A1C is now well into the normal range. So before, my A1C was 5.9, which was in the pre-diabetic range. Pre-diabetes, according to CDC, is at 5.7 to 6.4, and I was at 5.9, so I was in the pre-diabetic range. But anything below 5.7, according to the CDC, now you are in the normal range. So I am at 5.4 right now. So I'm happy. I'm happy. Because if we go back, I was at a 10 before. 10 point something. So that meant that my blood sugars on average, because on average means that there are sometimes some are high, some numbers are higher and some are lower. On average, my blood sugar was sitting around 240. That is not healthy. That is not healthy at all. So if your A1C is in the 10 range right now, or whatever range, continue, push, incorporate those healthy habits. Use this medication if you're using Mounjaro, Ozempic, Victoza, Trulicity, whatever medication you're using. Use that medication to your advantage along with those healthy habits to help to lower your A1C. Diabetes causes neurologic damage. It can cause cardiovascular damage, vision damage, some skin issues. Of course, it's going to affect your kidney function. Diabetes is a silent killer, and you do not want it to be silently eating at your body and essentially killing you. So let's try to do what we can to conquer diabetes. Sorry, I keep digressing, but I am excited. Listen, we got to get ourselves together. We got to get our health together, and we are getting our health together. All right, so, okay. So that was my labs. I'm happy, with what Mounjaro has been helping me to do with my inside my body, like I said. What else did my doctor, what do we talk about? So I told you guys in my last video that I was going to ask I was going to discuss with him moving up to 7.5. So what we decided is I'm going to move up to 7.5 for a month. I'm going to try it out for a month, and then depending on the side effects and depending on how it feels, how it works with my body, if I want to continue at the 7.5, then we'll continue on. If not, I can always go back to the 5 milligrams. We also discussed, I'm going to try to get a free sample of a Freestyle Libre. It on their website, on the Freestyle Libre website, it just says that you have to have a prescription. So I'm going to try that out. He did send a prescription over. Right now they're talking about some kind of prior auth. Well, not some kind of, they need a prior auth for my insurance, which I knew that. I know my insurance is not going to cover the Freestyle Libre because most of the time they say you have to be on a sliding scale of insulin, or you know, or you have to have some type of insulin regimen, and I don't. So we'll see how that turns out, if I can trial it or not. But I do want to see what my blood sugars are averaging when I'm put on this 7.5 milligram dose of Mounjaro. We also talked about creating what I called a discharge plan for myself. So discharging myself from GLP-1s or diabetes medication in the future. So we discussed, you know, it's one component that will really help with coming off of any type of medication and just continuing to live and continuing to go on without needing that medication is support. So that's where you guys come in. You're my support. But, you know, just having a team of people around you. So my family, or find some type of support group that will help me with being accountable. And so he mentioned like Weight Watchers. What else did he say? He said there's a place called Orange Theory in our area. He mentioned that. Just other health groups. Another group called E2M. He mentioned that because a lot of the people at our office, they're on that. But just finding a support group, which I have you guys as my support. Can y'all support me? Can y'all be my accountability partners? If I ever decide to come off of this GLP-1, or if I ever decide to come off of Mounjaro, will y'all be my support? I know you will. But he just, said just make sure to have a great support team behind you, just to have accountability and to not slack off. Because what he said was, and what made a lot of sense, was that when we have a support team, or when we have someone who we're accountable to, we are more apt to continue that journey on. But if it's just ourselves and we're having to be accountable only to ourselves, we tend to cheat ourselves more if we tell ourselves, oh, I can have this time, or I can do this time. But if we have someone who we have to check in with regularly, you're more apt to continue on with that lifestyle. So I told him we'll start talking about that maybe in the fall. So I want to see like another lab update, and maybe then talk about discharging myself or discontinuing the medication. But not now. Because I just, I'm just there. I can't be too fast now. Can't be too fast and pull away. And then I pull away and I'm like, whoa. But just taking things slow and easy. So I'm going to do the 7.5 milligrams for a month and see how it goes. Like when I get into week 3, or listen, if I get into week 1, I'm like, I'm going back to the 5. I'm trying to debate, because actually, and I was trying to say this to the next video, but if you watch the next video, you'll hear about it twice. But Publix already called. So because it's only a 1-month dose, I can get it from Publix instead of using the mail order pharmacy for my insurance. They already called and it's in stock. So now, again, the cost, I think she said it was like $260 something, and I was like, oh wait, I have a savings card. So now I need to go and take the savings card and do all that jazz, but we'll see. So yes, that was my update for my doctor appointment. Listen, I am happy about what this last 6 months has done for me. Now listen, I know Mounjaro does what it does, and it works really well for what it does. But I believe that if I had put in the work like I have put in the last 6 months when I was on Ozempic, don't get me wrong, when I was on Ozempic, when I first started Ozempic, I was pushing strong. And that's why I want to keep holding myself accountable, because when I first got on Ozempic, I was pushing strong. I lost a lot of weight. I did. But then reflecting, I did slack off. I did. Just admitting, I did. And I believe if I kept going, Ozempic would have continued to do what it was supposed to do for me. So my job is to continue to do what I'm supposed to do and not slack off. So that's what I'm gonna do. In the next 6 months, we'll check back in and we'll see what my labs look like. I go back to him on November, right before Thanksgiving. I think it was November the 21st. 6 months again. I'll get my 6 months labs again, and I will go from there. But yeah, what do you guys think? So if you have been on GLP-1 and it has been 3 months or it's been 6 months, let us know in the comments below how your A1C has lowered. If you have any non-scale victories, so these are all non-scale victories, the labs and so forth. If you have any non-scale victories to share with the community, let us know in the comments below. As always, guys, I thank you for your love, for your support, for your motivation. Let's just continue to love on each other. Love is such a great and awesome action word, and we need to put that into action. So let's just continue to love and motivate each other. I thank you guys again, and until next time, I love you guys, and God bless.